Today we are multiplying and dividing with one-step inequalities. Okay, when multiplying inequalities and dividing inequalities, there is one rule that changes. Okay, if you multiply or divide by a negative, you must flip the inequality. Okay, so if you don't multiply or divide by a negative, then it stays the same. Okay, the only change is if you multiply or divide by a negative in order to solve the problem. So let's take a look here at question 1. Okay, this one has a positive coefficient. So we have 4x is less than 28. Well, in order to solve this, I divide by 4. 4 is positive, so nothing changes in this problem. X is less than, and then 28 divided by 4 is 7. So we are doing a open circle at 7. Okay, x is less than 7, and it's open because it is not or equal to, and numbers less than 7, so 6 is less than 7, 5, 0 is less than 7, so my arrow goes in this direction. Okay, number 3 here, we have negative 48, but when I am solving this problem, negative 48 is greater than or equal to 12x. Well, 12x means I divide by 12. Again, dividing by a positive. I do not change anything when I divide by a positive. Okay, negative 48 divided by 12 is negative 4 is greater than or equal to x. Okay, again, because I divided by 12, I do not flip the signs. Everything stays the same. All right, so if negative 4 is greater than or equal to x, I'm putting a closed circle at negative 4, and then my arrow is going to go in the direction of numbers that are that 4, negative 4 is greater than. So my arrow is going towards negative 5 because negative 4 is greater than negative 5. All right, there are several more for you to try like that. Now, if I come down here, now I have negative coefficients. Okay, negative 7x is greater than 42. Well, here I divide by negative 7. So this is a circumstance where I would flip my inequality. So dividing here, I have x is now my greater than becomes a less than symbol. And then 42 divided by negative 7 is going to be negative 6. Okay? And then I follow my graphing rules the same. So because I divided by a negative, I flipped my fraction here. Okay? So again, open circle at negative 6. X is less than negative 6, so I draw it in the direction of the numbers that are less than. Okay? This one down here, negative 12x. I divide by negative 12. Again, dividing by a negative means I flip my symbol. So x is now greater than or equal to negative 48 divided by negative 12 is positive 4. Okay, so x is greater than or equal to positive 4, so that's a closed circle at positive 4. And if x is going to be greater than or equal to 10 is greater than or equal to 8 is greater than or equal to, so my line goes in that direction. One more. Okay, negative 24 is greater than negative 3x. Well, to solve this, I divide by negative 3x. Again, dividing by that negative. 24 divided by 3, I get positive 8 is less than. Again, because I divided by a negative, I flip my symbol. 8 is less than x. Okay, so I have an open circle at 8, and x is all the numbers that 8 is less than. So 8 is less than 10, 8 is less than 12, so my arrow goes in that direction. Okay, several more that you can try like that. Now, if we have decimals involved, we follow the same exact process. If I divide by a negative, I flip my inequality. If I divide by a positive or multiply by a positive, everything stays the same, exactly like it would if you were solving an equation. So -9 is greater than or equal to 0.75x. So I'm dividing by positive 0.75 on both sides. Okay, so -9 divided by 0.75 gives you -12. So I have -12 is greater than or equal to x. Okay, so I have a closed circle at -12, and -12 is greater than or equal to 13, greater than or equal to 15, -15, -16. Okay, those are all of our numbers that -12 is greater than. Okay, one more like that. Okay, we have 0.2x is less than or equal to 3. Divide by positive 0.2. Okay, and then we have x is less than or equal to, and then 3 divided by 0.2 is 15. So x is less than or equal to 15. Again, closed circle at 15. X is less than or equal to it. So 12 is less than or equal to 15. 10 is less than or equal to 15. Okay, there's my arrow there. All right. Now, if I have decimals, coefficients that are negative, I'm going to flip the sign. Okay, so divide by negative 0.8. Divide by negative 0.8. Okay, so 7 divided by negative 0.8 is negative 8.75. I flip, because I divided by negative 0.8, I flip my sign. And that gives you negative 8.75 is less than x. Okay, so I'm going to do an open circle at about 8.75 right there. Okay, and we're going to draw an arrow. -6 is going to be negative 8.75 is going to be less than -6. It's going to be less than -3. Okay, my arrow goes in that direction. Okay, negative 2.7x less than or equal to negative 13.5. Again, dividing by a negative here. Negative 2.7 divided by negative 2.7. So I get x, and then again, flip my sign, greater than or equal to, and then negative 13.5 divided by negative 2.7 is 5. So x is greater than or equal to 5. Closed circle at 5. And we draw an arrow in the direction where x is greater than 5. Now, if we have fractions, okay, so x divided by 7 is less than or equal to 2. All right, in order to solve this, I'm going to multiply by 7 on both sides. Okay, again, I'm multiplying by a positive, so nothing else changes. I would do it just like I'm doing an equation. So x is less than or equal to 2 times 7 is 14. Okay, closed circle at 14. X is less than or equal to, so my arrow goes in that direction. Okay, again, x divided by 4 is greater than -4, so times by positive 4 times by a positive 4. Okay, x is greater than, again, it stays exactly the same because I did not multiply by a negative. All right, I do get -16. That does not change anything. Okay, it's what you multiply by in order to get your answer. Open circle at -16, x is greater than negative 16. So I put my arrow in that direction. Okay, now if you have a negative denominator, meaning you're going to need to multiply by a negative. So x divided by negative 7, I would have to multiply by negative 7. Okay, that is going to give you x is, and then you flip your sign, becomes less than negative 56. Okay, I do an open circle at negative 56, and x is less than that, so my arrow goes in that direction. Again, x divided by negative 4, multiply by negative 4, so that means I have to flip my sign. X is now greater than or equal to 4 times 9 is, or sorry, 9 times negative 4 is negative 36. Okay, closed circle and arrow in the greater than direction. Okay, and if you have fractions and decimals are involved, again, you are following the same exact process. Multiply by your positive, that means nothing changes. You get x is greater than or equal to 2.1 times 4 is going to be 8.4. Okay, plot your closed point about there, and x is greater than or equal to, so my line goes in that direction. Okay, so same exact process if you have decimals, nothing changes. Okay, but if you multiply by that negative, like here in number 17, you're multiplying by a negative 5. So we're doing negative 3.7 times negative 5, and you get positive 18.5. So I get x is, and then I flip my sign because I had to multiply by a negative, and I get a negative times a negative is a positive, so 18.5. And that is going to be a closed circle, and 18 is less, or x is less than or equal to now. Okay. All right, there are several more that you can practice on, but that is how you multiply and divide inequalities.